What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I cannot do a recap right now over our picks yesterday because the slate hasn't even started. It's sitting currently at 5:13 p.m. and we're about 2 hours before the NBA slate starts for Friday night. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what the plays were. Hopefully, we ended up with a sweep. Had almost a sweep for Thursday night for NBA, and would love to have another good day for you guys. I am doing something completely different in today's video, so let me know if you guys like this style. If you like this style, I'll try to do this for pretty much from here on out on every single NBA, NFL, and college football slate. But what I'm going to do is we're going to look at these college football championship games, conference championship games for Saturday, and we're going to look at every single game. I'm going to give you my prediction on the game, and then we're going to try to find a prop for these games. Now, there's a couple games I haven't looked at props for, or I don't like the props for, that we'll skip over. But I got 6 plays for you guys today, and only one of them's a goblin. So we've got 5 regular lines that you guys can straight bet whatever you want, and we'll lock those in. But anyways, guys, if you want to get all of our plays, every pick we post, head on over to our WAP or our Patreon. Link for those is down in the description. It's $25 a month to join. The Discord is absolutely free to join. You can get in for $10 a week to join in our VIP if you want. But it's totally up to you how you guys want to do that. But we'd love to have you at least in the free Discord. Link for that's down in the description, guys. And I am going to start this video by picking a winner from yesterday's video. So what I'm doing is if we get 150 likes on this video, I'm picking a random comment down below. It's randomly generated to win a free month. So we do this every single video. Let's pick our winner from yesterday. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button. You do have to be subscribed to win, and let's go ahead and pick our winner. So winner for yesterday is going to be for Red Edwards. Happy flexing. Man, Red Edwards has been on this channel for a long time, dude. I mean, probably over a year and a half. I ain't going to say. I don't know exactly when he joined. He's been on here for a long time, though. So, Red, send me a message on Discord, dude. Got another free month of VIP. I think you've won this 3 times over the last year and a half, so congrats, man. And, yeah, send me a message. But anyways, guys, before we jump into these picks, I do want to give a shout out to DGF. If you guys want a free month of our VIP and 25% off DGF, use our link down in the description. It is code ACES. You get 25% off your entire purchase as well as a free month of our VIP. What they do is it takes every play from our apps like Prizepicks and UNDERDOG, compares it directly back to sports books, and it gives you a % odds to hit value. So the way it picks these props, for Prizepicks at least, you can see it has Ashton Jeanty tonight. So we got Boise State versus UNLV. They got him predicted to go under 29.5 fantasy score. Now the reason they chose this under is because if you look at it over here on, I think that's BetMGM, I'm not sure what exactly sports book that is. They got him predicted to go it's plus 100 odds, pretty much coin flip odds to go under 25 fantasy score, 25.6. So pretty sure they score it the same way Prizepicks does, and that's why it's comparing it to that one and not other books. But anyways, guys, just tons of things you can do with this. You can find line discrepancies all day. Link for that's down in the description. Recommend giving it a try, and just let me know if you do. And you got a free month of VIP. So right now I got Scores app posted or open. The only reason I have the score open is so I can look at all these games and I don't get confused on what the spread and stuff is. And we'll look at this for tonight. We got Western Kentucky and Jacksonville State playing, Tulane and Army, and then we got UNLV and Boise. A lot of these are coin flips. I think Tulane and Army can go anyway. If I had to pick, man, I want to go with Army. Now, just because I'm saying go with Army, I'm not saying actually bet on this, because you can see Tulane is a -5 favorite, predicted for a 45-point total. I personally haven't played any college football for tonight yet. I'm probably going to lock in some slips here in a minute. But UNLV, Boise State, I'm leaning towards Boise State. And this ain't for free picks, guys. I'm just going over these games. And then for tomorrow's games, you can see we got 6 games that we're going to look at tonight. So first one being Ohio versus Miami of Ohio, and it's a -2.5 point spread, 44.5 total. Starts at noon tomorrow. Now I did take a vote in our Discord server over whether or not you guys wanted me to give college football or NBA free picks. I tried. The vote was overwhelmingly NBA. I will say I tried to get this video in early. I work night shift tonight. There's no way for me to record the NBA video later. And I don't want to post a video at 10 a.m. tomorrow and the game start at 1. It doesn't have time to do anything for the video. Not many people get to see it, and it just makes things a lot worse. So I like to get these videos in the night before, and all these slates are not going to post, or all these platforms are not going to post NBA that early. Didn't think before I made the vote. So what we're going to do is we're going to do college football free picks. If I get home early tomorrow and I have time to do free picks for NBA, we'll do 2 videos, but more than likely that's not going to happen. So I do apologize for the ones that voted for NBA, but at least I got some college football plays for you guys tonight. So first pick, Ohio versus Miami of Ohio. My pick to win this, I'm taking Miami of Ohio. They played the same game. They played the same team earlier this season. Miami of Ohio did win this game. They're minus 2.5 points favorites. Ohio's sitting at 9-3 on the season, with Miami of Ohio sitting at 8-4. They beat them 30-20 this season. And looking at the game, Navarro, or Ohio's quarterback, threw for 88 passing yards. Now looking at that, man, it would tell you not to take Navarro, however you want to say his name. That's my first play of the day. And I'm taking Parker Navarro over 138.5 passing yards. Now, you might think this is the stupidest play ever. If you look at him on the season, man, he's cashed this 9 of 11 games. He's averaging 176 passing yards on the season so far. I like this play a lot, man. If you look at Miami of Ohio, they only give up 180 passing yards per game, which is 18th in the league and or in the nation. But if you look at this, dude, 180 still, if that's 18th best passing defense in the nation, and they're still getting up 180 passing yards, which is well over this 139, 138 or whatever. You can look at Ohio. They pass the ball 40%, run the ball 60%. So they are going to run the ball more. My personal opinion on this game, Miami of Ohio wins. So that means Ohio's playing from behind. They're going to have to try to air the ball out a little bit to win, unless the game stays within a 1-point score, which it should, but you never know how this is going to go. So I like this play, man. I'm taking Parker Navarro over 138.5 passing yards. I'm playing this every game, man. Every time I see this, I don't care what. I mean, neither of these teams are powerhouses by far. So playing against mediocre teams, they can throw for 200 yards any day. You can see he had 277 versus EMC. He just had 179 versus Ball. 169, versus Ball. Several games with well over 200. I think 140 is low. Even if they blow out Miami of Ohio, I don't think it's going to be from just running the ball. I think they're going to pass the ball too, and I think he's going to cover this 140. The number's just too low. I like this play. It's minus 119 odds on Prizepicks. You can get it minus 120 on some sports books. You have to check and see if your sportsbook allows it. I use Fliff personally. I haven't got to check and see if it's on Fliff yet, but I will be looking at that for a second. But that's the first pick I like for today, Parker Navarro. I didn't take anything from the Miami of Ohio side. I don't like this game that much personally. The total we already saw was 44.5, so it's not a super high scoring total. It's minus 2.5 points, minus 2.5 spread. So this game is a close game. But my pick to win, Miami of Ohio, and I'm taking Navarro over 138.5 passing yards. I will pull this up on Prizepicks. You can see it is 138.5 on Prizepicks, and it is right there. So that's pick number 1 of the day. That's what I got locked in. You can see his rushing yards is at 69.5 rushing yards. He does scramble a lot. He's a scrambling quarterback. He's scrambled for over 100 yards each game. But I'm taking it. If you want to take his passing rush yards combined, I don't think it's on here, is it? No, you can't. But anyways, I'm taking a chance at Parker Navarro, and I've got him locked in. So that's pick number 1 of the day. I just think the number's really low. So jumping into our second game of the day, we got Iowa State versus Arizona State. Got a 50.5 total, minus 1.5 point spread. Another super close game for the Big 12 championship. Both teams are ranked 15 and 16. Should be a really good game. My pick for this one, Arizona to win. I'm taking the favorite on this one as well, even though it's only a minus 1.5 points favorite. I do think they cover the spread. I think they win by at least a field goal in this game, and that's my opinion on it. And I got Arizona State to win. So looking at the plays, I ended up taking the quarterback, Rocco. So let's pull up our man, Rocco. I took him over 238.5 passing yards. So we're going to click this right here. I'm not 100% sure how you say his last name. Beck. I'm not real sure. I'm just going to call him Rocco in case you guys were wondering. So we got the Iowa State quarterback over 238.5. It's minus 119 odds. Obviously, it's a coin flip prop on Prizepicks. You can get it around minus 120 on Fliff, I believe is what it is. If you look at Arizona State, they give up 216 passing yards per game, 62nd best passing defense in the nation right now. Looking at this, Rocco has cashed this in 8 of 12 games on the season, throwing for 252 passing yards per game on average. You can look at this versus Iowa. He threw for 272. You see a lot of these games versus Baylor, threw for 277, which Baylor was kind of a shootout, 43-21. I think this game's going to be pretty high scoring. Versus Kansas, he threw for 383. I like this play, man. One thing I did look at, and I looked at Arizona State, and I pulled up their recent games, and you can look at matchups where a decent quarterback played versus Arizona State, and that quarterback did well on a majority of games. Both of these teams sitting at 10-2. Some of the games I'm talking about, BYU, if you look at BYU's quarterback, Ratliff, we all obviously know Ratliff's a pretty decent quarterback. I ain't going to say he's like Heisman candidate or anything. I don't think he's He's that good, but I don't think he's a Cam Ward or anything. But Reli's a pretty good quarterback. He threw for 297 yards versus the same Arizona team. If you go over to Kansas State, we got Johnson for Kansas State. He threw for 256 passing yards. You can go to, obviously, UCF's a running team. I'm not even going to pull them up. You can go to Kansas. You can look at the Kansas quarterback, Jalen Daniels. He threw for 260 passing yards. A lot of these decent quarterbacks threw for well over the 250 passing yards. I think Beck's going to have a chance, or Rocco, we'll call him Rocco. They throw the ball 49% of the time, run the ball 51% of the time. So you can see it is a pass or a 50% pass and run rate. You can come over here to the offense for Iowa State versus the defense for Arizona State, and you can see passing yards versus rushing yards. They have a better rushing defense than they do passing defense. Only give up 116 rushing yards per game, which is still a lot. And obviously, Iowa State only runs 165 rushing yards per game. They throw for 258. So they throw for more yards than they run, obviously, and then the other team gives up more passing than they do rushing yards. They have a better rushing defense than passing defense. Looking at this, I like the play for our man Rocco, and I've got him locked in. He is over here on Prizepicks. I do want to say, guys, if you want a free month of VIP, you can sign up for any partnered app that we have. Links down in the description are CHALKBOARD, Sleeper, Underdog, Better, Parlay Play, and a DGF. Any of those get you a free month. Sign up for any of the apps and deposit at least $10. Let me know personally in the Discord, me or Ace, and we'll get you a free month. But you can see Rocco, his other line is $199.5. If you want to take his gobble on at $199.5, I think that's another really good play. Think he's going to cash it. Think the game stays semi-close, but I do see Arizona State winning this game. And I've got them locked in as well. So that's pick number 2 of the day. So jumping into our third game of the day, we got Georgia versus Texas. This one is going to be a toss-up. I actually didn't take any plays from this game. Carson Beck is a wild card to me. He throws good some games and sucks it up the other one. I don't like taking the Texas offense versus the Georgia defense either, as it is a 50-point total. This could be a shootout. Could be a really high-scoring game. I don't know, though. They got Texas favored -2.5. I personally think Texas wins. Texas did lose to Georgia. Their only loss this season earlier, but I do think they're going to win this game tonight. I think they're going to get redemption on Georgia. Georgia almost got beat by Georgia Tech their last game. It was a really close game, and to me, I just think Texas is the better team. I do think both these teams are good. I think both of them deserve to be in the playoffs, but I do think Texas is going to come out here on top. Not being, I do think it's going to be a close game, and this one could go either way. Don't get me wrong, but if I was going to take a bet on this one, I would take Texas -2.5 before I took Georgia +2.5. Personally, that's what I would lock in. I'm not touching any player props on it right now. I might end up risking some goblin plays or something. But for the sake of this video, nothing for the Georgia-Texas game. So next game we have is Marshall, Louisiana. My personal pick for this game is Louisiana. You got -6. I would take Louisiana, probably money line, and probably tease it somehow. I probably wouldn't take the -6. If you could buy it down to -2.5 and parlay it with something else for a better payout, I would do that before I took their -6. I do think this is a competitive game as well. Neither team's going to be playing much defense. You can see it is a 57.5-point total. Marshall versus Louisiana. My pick for this one is going to be the Louisiana running back, Elijah Davis. So we'll go ahead and pull up Davis over here. Davis has been a killer running back this season. His line's sitting at 76.5. Now, I know a lot of these games he has been under. He's only cashed it 5 of 12 on the season. He does have a couple games where he had over 100, 103, 110, 95, 80. He had 78 his last game versus ULM. Looking at this, though, Marshall has an insanely bad rushing defense. Marshall does have a good rushing offense as well, but their rushing defense is terrible. They go up 190 rushing yards per game, 111th ranked in the nation in rushing defense, which is terrible. If you come over here to offense, put their Marshall's defense versus the offense of Louisiana, you can see it does lean heavily in the favor for rushing yards for Louisiana. They get 180 rushing yards per game, which is 44th in the nation, versus one of the worst rushing defenses in the game at 111th in the nation. To me, this is a no-brainer. They do get 265 passing yards. They do have a decent passing offense as well versus mediocre. Or it's a 40th in the nation in passing defense at less than 200 per game. So that's why I ended up going with the running back over the quarterback. Looks like rushing offense is going to be better for Louisiana today. He has cashed it 5 of 12. He's only averaging 65 on the season so far. I did look at a lot of these Marshall games to see how the opposing team ran the ball, and lots of games with the running back over 100 yards. So I like this play a lot. He averages 12.5 rush attempts per game on average. I think he's getting more than that this game. You can see his last 3 games, he's had 17, 19, and 16 rush attempts. They run the ball 53% of the time, and you can look at Elijah Davis getting more carries than any other running back with Zillin Perry right behind him, but Zillin Perry is not even on the board. So I like this play a lot, man. 76.5. I do think this I mean, I think he's going to go over 100 rushing yards today. I think he's going to have a great game. I think Louisiana wins this game. It's really, really high score. And like I said, no defense should be played or not much. It would be really surprising if this game ended under like a 50-point total to me personally. But like this play a lot for Elijah Davis, 76.5. We'll go ahead and pull him up over here on Prizepicks just to show you it is on the board. You can get him at 76.5 for his original line, or you can take him at 49.5 rush yards, goblin play. I like either one of these. I'll probably play this goblin as well. I think this goblin's about a lock. If you take this to the 49.5, you can see he's catched it 8 of 12 games on the season. Well over that. One game he hooked this play. I don't think he's coming anywhere near the 50 today. I think it's going to be well over that, if not double that line. So love to play both of these for Elijah Davis. You can lock them in any way you want, but I'll play probably his goblin and his original line in some type of slip. But that is pick number 3 of the day. The second to the last game we have Clemson versus SMU, another game that I personally can see going anyway. This one looks like it's going to be another shootout. 55.5 point total, minus 2.5 point spread for SMU. Do not count Clemson out. I live really close to Clemson, and I'm not a Clemson fan by any means. I don't dislike Clemson. I don't like Clemson. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm neutral when it comes to Clemson and Carolina. But this game, man, don't count Clemson out. Now, SMU is a favorite right now. It's only a minus 2.5 point favorite. A lot of people that I hear talking that's not Clemson fans, SMU is going to kill them. I don't think SMU is going to kill them. I think this is going to be a shootout. Lots of games versus SMU have been shootouts, and a lot of teams have come close or put up a lot of points versus them. Clemson's a team that's not gonna roll over and give up, especially when it comes to the Natty. If Clemson wins this game, they're going to the playoffs. If Clemson loses, they're not. This is a big, big game for Clemson. SMU should go to the playoffs regardless. And I think if Clemson loses, that's the only way Bama gets in, I believe. I'm not 100% on that. But so a lot of people pulling against Clemson. A lot of people around my town obviously pulling for Clemson. But my pick for the game, I think SMU wins. I think they win by a field goal. That's my guess. So I think they cover this minus 2.5 point spread. This one I'm not confident in. If I was going to bet money on this, no more than a unit, probably half a unit, because this one could go either way in my opinion. So looking at the play, what I ended up taking for this game is Kevin Jennings over fantasy score. So we're going to pull up Kevin Jennings. That is the SMU quarterback, in case you guys were not aware of it. But Kevin Jennings, SMU over fantasy score on Prizepicks. It is 18.5. He has cashed his 10 of 12 games on the season, averaging 20 fantasy score per game. He cashed this pretty much every single game except BYU and then Nevada, which that one doesn't even count. You can look at we'll go to his passing yards first. You can look at Clemson's passing defense. They give up 206 passing yards per game, 48th in the nation. And if you go to their rushing, I'm gonna pull their rushing yards up. That's not rushing yards. I hate when this happens, man. So targets, rushing attempts. The rushing defense is 72nd. I don't know why I didn't just scroll down. Don't mind me. But rushing defense, 72nd in the nation, 150 per game. So I think Kevin Jennings is going to have a good game. Kevin Jennings can run the ball. He can pass the ball. He can get rushing touchdowns. He can get passing touchdowns. I personally think he's going to cover this fantasy score for us today. And I like to play a lot for Kevin Jennings. I could see Klubnik going over his as well. His line sitting at like 250 passing yards. Personally think that's a little bit high. There's several games Klubnik's threw for over 300. But I am going to take our boy Kevin Jennings as my pick for this game. So I will come over here to the Clemson defense versus the SMU offense. You can see SMU gets about 178 rushing yards per game, 264 passing yards per game. He gets anywhere close to these numbers, they should catch this fantasy score pretty easily. He's throwing passing TDs. He's averaging 1.5 per game. His last 4 games, he's threw for 2 at least. 2 passing touchdowns is going to be 8 fantasy points. 3 would be 12, plus the passing yards, plus rushing yards, plus the attempts at rushing touchdowns. You go to TDs. There has been some of these games. These are not passing TDs. So he has 4 rushing TDs on the season. Doesn't get one most games, but you can see rushing touchdowns versus Clemson, 2.7 per game. So I like this play a lot. I like the fantasy score for our man, Kevin Jennings. You can get it on Underdog at 20.7. I'm probably not going to take the Underdog one. I like the fantasy score for Prizepicks a little bit better, and I've got him locked in. So let's go ahead and pull up Kevin Jennings over here on Prizepicks. If it's still on here, right? Yeah, 18.5 fantasy score. It is on here as well, and I like it a lot. So jumping into the last game of the day and our last 2 plays. They're both for the Penn State versus Oregon game. I said this last time Penn State played Ohio State. I think they're a little bit overrated personally. Ohio State, I mean, it was a good matchup. It was a good game. But I don't think Penn State is going to be capable of beating Oregon tonight. Now, that being said, this is a 50.5 total. Oregon's only minus 3.5 favorites. I think Oregon wins by at least a touchdown, so I think they cover that spread as well. I don't think Penn State can beat Oregon. That's just my opinion on this. Oregon has been pretty dominant this season, and I think they're the only team in the league right now with no losses. So, yeah, I mean, Penn State's 11-1, Oregon's 12-0. I knew Oregon was lossless, but I wasn't sure if ranked 2 was or not. But that's Texas. Obviously, Texas is ranked 2nd. They only have 1 loss, so obviously Oregon is the only undefeated team this season. But versus Penn State, man, I think Oregon wins. Like I said, I think they cover the spread. I think they win by at least a touchdown, and I've got them locked in. So for my play for today, for the Oregon game, this is going to be my only goblin. I'm taking Dillon Gabriel, the Oregon quarterback. I'm taking him over 199.5 passing yards. So let's pull this up. His original line's at 235. You can buy it down to 199.5. He has cashed this line 11 of 12 games on the season. He's averaging 273 passing yards per game. If you look at Penn State, they have a very good passing defense. They only give up 170 passing yards per game, ranked 7th in the nation. If you come over here, I'm going to set this to Penn State defense versus Oregon's offense. You can see their rushing defense is 7th as well. So they're ranked 7th in both passing and rushing defense. When you get stats like this, it makes it very hard to decide between a quarterback and a running back. Now, that being said, if you look at Oregon's offense, they're 14th in passing yards, get 277 passing yards per game versus 58th in rushing yards. So their passing offense is a little bit better. They throw the ball 49%, pass the ball or run the ball 51%. So it is pretty much 50-50 split based on pass and rushing. I like this play for Gabriel. His original line I almost took, but I decided to go with this goblin first because I didn't trust his original line that much. But I did take Gabriel over 199.5. I got him. I'm going to have him locked in, but that is the play that I like here. And then the second play that I like for this game is our man Trayshawn Holden. So this is going to be one of the receivers for Oregon. I got him over 29.5 receiving yards, and it does look like it got bumped to 31.5. So 29.5 I know on Sleeper, 31.5 on Prizepicks. I'd probably just take that 29.5 on Sleeper before I touch the Prizepicks one personally. But I don't like playing a lot of these receiving yards on college football. A lot of the people who've been here for a while know that because it can get a little scummy sometimes. But I'm just going to set this to 30.5. He's cashed 8 of 11 games on the season. At the 29.5, he's actually cashed 9 of 11 games on the season. He cashed it versus Maryland as well. I like this play. Penn State, obviously, we've already looked at it, 7th in the nation in receiving yards allowed. If you come down here to targets, our man Trayshawn is getting around 4 targets per game and 3.3 receptions. His high this season has been 7 targets with 6 receptions. Been several games where he's got 4 and 5, 6. His last 3, he's got 3, 3, and 2. But that was versus Maryland, that was versus Wisconsin, and that was versus Washington. Neither of these games were close except the Wisconsin game, which was a little bit close, which was a little worrisome for Oregon, but they ended up pulling through on that one. They didn't play very well, in my opinion. But looking at this, man, Trayshawn Holden over 29.5 receiving yards is what I'm locking in as the final play. I like it a lot, and I will take him. I could probably see him cashing 31.5 as well, but I'm not touching that personally. I'm going to take the 29.5 on Sleeper and get the better value. So those are our plays, guys. Parker Navarro over 138.5 pass yards. We got Rocco over 238.5 pass yards. Elijah Davis over 76.5 rush yards. Kevin Jennings fantasy score. Dillon Gabriel, Goblin pass yards, and then Trayshawn Holden, 29.5 receiving yards. I like the Goblin plays for every single one of these plays if you want to lock in the Goblin, and I'll probably play the Sprinkler Goblin in somewhere as well, especially Elijah Davis, one of my favorite Goblins on the board. I like the Rocco Goblin as well. Trayshawn Holden, I don't know what his Goblin was, but I'm sure it's free as well. But anyways, I like all those plays. So guys, let me know what you think about these breakdowns of the games, who I think is going to win, that kind of thing. If you like the style, that I normally do, because I am trying something a little bit different here. But anyways, guys, those are all of our plays. Make sure you guys leave a like and a comment on this video. Hope you guys have an amazing Saturday. Hope we cashed you guys out tonight on Friday, since I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope we cash everything for you. Hope we cash everything on Saturday, and I'll see y'all in the next video.